A very good morning to all of you who have joined me. So I have a small presentation. I will take you through the presentation. Okay, friends. Once again, welcome. This is about what we wanted to tell you, that you can study at an IIM, the Indian Institutes of Management, right after your 12th class. Right after your 12th class, and that's correct. There was a time, and not too far back, where if you wanted to get into the Indian Institute of Management and the 20 IIMs in the country, you had to finish your graduation. The graduation could have been BA, BCom, BSc, BCA, BBA, whatever else, or BTech, MBBS, B Pharma, or anything else for that matter. You had to finish a 3-year graduation, or a UG as it's called these days, and a 4-year or a 4-year UG in terms of engineering before you could pick up the management as a career or either do an MBA. 2011 was the first year that Indian Institute of Management Indore, the IIM at Indore, for the first time pioneered the fact that you could do an MBA straight after 12th. Of course, it's not that you will do only a 2-year MBA, which is the normal game, but a 5-year integrated program. And that exactly is what I'm going to talk about. So we have why management education. That's the first thing that I'm going to look at it. One obvious thing about management is it is stream agnostic. If you want to go to the top of every field you choose, sooner or later, you will get into management. So one of the keys, most important areas of our career is the career growth. And if there is one degree, if there is one course, if there is one area that will give you that kind of a growth, and that is management. So one of the fundamental things of career growth comes from management education or a BBA, MBA. The second one is, of course, top salaries. If you are at the height of your careers, if you are at the top of your top of the hierarchy in your organizations, it's but obvious that you will start or end with top salary. The interesting thing, and my last slide today will tell you that, that the money is excellent even at the very beginning of your careers. You know, if you talk to your parents, they will give you some kind of a wonderful gyan saying that jab hum finish kar dete the hamara engineering degree, humko itna hi milta tha. We used to get only this much amount, that much amount. You don't have to do that. You can start with about 10, 15, 20 lakhs per annum. You'll be surprised. We'll talk about that as we go along. But I would say one of the reasons why management education is the most important education one can get is because it will give you flexibility. It'll give you an amazing amount of flexibility, I can tell you that. The versatility that an MBA education gives, no other career, no other degree, no other course in the entire world will give you that. And that is I think the fundamental reason, if not the main reason, if not all the reason, but the fundamental reason one chooses MBA education or a management education. And if you have considered that sometime sooner, whether after engineering or after a degree, you want to do an MBA, why not do it after 12? Why not, when those of you who are in 10th class, my friends, look at the next 2 years and ensure that you get into an IIM straight up. And those of you who are in 11th and 12th, especially in 12th, boss, you have 6 months to go. 6 months, 7 months to go to write these exams and get there. And that is the reason why I think this is a very, very important thing. And what kind of flexibility are you going to get? You're going to be probably getting a great corporate job. You can become an entrepreneur. But I'll tell you something, you can become anything else for that matter. One of the things I'm going to talk about a little later is about a couple of my friends, and I'm pretty sure most of you, if not all of you, know about these people. I'll talk about it. Just hang on with me for the next few minutes. Now, this is what happened in the management education in India. You finished your 12th class. Then you picked up some graduation. Again, please, those of you who are from BSc by any chance are thinking of B Pharma or anything else, B Design, don't think that I have not put in. Anybody who's a graduate engineer, who's a graduate in that sense, so to say, can do an MBA. But what we are now telling you is there is something called an integrated program. The integrated program in management will take care of giving you an MBA degree in the same 5 years. Then you might say, hey, why? What on earth are you talking, sir? If it's going to give me exactly in the same 5 years that I'm going to do after a BCom and an MBA, why should I waste my time right now? Why should I take up an IPM? Wait, don't go away. There are a lot of reasons why you should take up IPM right now, because the course that you're talking about for 3 years of a BBA or a BCom or a BA that happens in IIM Indore for that matter is amazing course. It's a course which you will love to go through if only you listen to this. And that is what we're going to talk about. But before that, see, these are some of the queries that all of you should have and will have probably. Should I go for an IPM or a BBA? What are the top colleges in IPM or BBA? Should I go for a BCom first or a BBA first and then an MBA? Or is it better to do a 5-year? This is exactly the question that I was asking you a minute back. Will an IPM add value as much as an MBA? This is an important question too, right? It is a very, very important question to will an IPM add value similar to an MBA? Should I drop a year for preparation? In fact, yesterday I was doing one session where a student asked me, sir, I am already in 12th. I am fully stressed out. Do you think I should drop a year right now to prepare for IPM and get into an IIM Indore? Well, the answer may not be as easy as the question. 6.5 months that you have, those of you are in 12th, you don't have to think about dropping a year to get there. Having said that, is it worth it? In a career spanning 35, 40 years for all of us, I'm saying, not just for you, 1 year is not going to make a difference. Rather, even 2 years is not going to make a difference, frankly, my friends, as long as you have the clarity that this is what you want. And we will talk about that too. This was the IPM journey very, very quickly. IIM Indore, like I said in the very beginning, started in 2011. Then for 8 years, nothing happened. For the first 3 years, for the first 4 years to be precise, people used to feel, why on earth did IIM Indore start this? 2015, rather 2016 was the first batch of IPM Indore. The IIM Indore batch of IPM came out after finishing their 5 years integrated program. There was not a beeline of corporates waiting to recruit them. In fact, they were given less salaries than the MBA batch of IIM Indore of that year. They were given less salary because the corporates did not know how good the students would be. And remember, if you are in an IIM Indore after your graduation, you would have written a very, very supposedly tough exam called CLAT, the Common Admission Test to the IIMs. So the corporates thought, hey, this guy wrote a CLAT exam and came to me. This guy wrote a CLAT exam and came to me, and is coming to me rather. And therefore, he should be better than this kid who has finished his 12th and straight away got into IIM Indore. He wrote one exam called IPMAT. That was just the first year. When these students went into the corporates in 2016, they created history. They created history because when 2017 came and the corporates, the companies that recruited the 2016 graduates started looking for IPMAT graduates. And in 2021, 5 years after they started, 5 years after the first batch passed out, the IPMAT students of IIM Indore probably get more salary than the freshers who would have joined IIM Indore after their graduation. They have got, not probably. And that is the power of this 3 years plus 2 years program. And you'll be very surprised. And that's there. I'm going to showcase to you one last slide at the end to tell you that if you can get in there, my friends, now, after your 12th, you will not only get a great career, but I think the 3 years education plus the 2 years, which is anyway going to happen, the 3 years of amazing education, you will fall in love with understanding what is studying all about. In this country, in our India, we have been more and more prone towards rote learning. Not happening anymore. The new education policy that 2020 the government has announced and will be implemented has a lot of critical thinking, etc. And that if you can do in your 11th, in your UG itself, that is your 3 years of graduation, and also enjoy along with it and explore various things. Not only the IIMs, there is a national law school called Nalsar in Hyderabad. They have started IPM too. And the NEP that I was talking about, the NEP 2020, if you don't know about it, just Google it. It is the National Education Policy 2020 unveiled by the government of India. Many IITs, many other institutes, many universities are going to start off IPM sooner than later. Don't be surprised. So when 2022 comes in, that is next year when people starting off, you might have a few IIMs joining the bandwagon and a few IITs too. But more interestingly, those of you who are in 11th, that will be 2023 for you. And those of you who are in 10th, that is 2024 for you. You will be surprised that you will have enough and more options available if you start your journey today. And that is the reason why I think you need to seriously look for this. Now, let me give you a glance the IPM program. First, it's a 5-year integrated BBA and MBA program. Now, one of the problems with a 5-year integrated program when it started off in IIM Indore was that it was a continuous program of 5 years. And therefore, if you got in, there was no getting out. You had to continue the 5 years. But what they've done now, and all the IIMs have done, is this: that if you don't want to finish the 5 years at IIM Indore or IIM Rohtak directly, no problems. 3 years, pick that a BBA degree from an IIM or a BA degree from an IIM and do whatever you want. Let's say you want to go abroad and go to a Harvard Business School, or you want to go to London School of Economics, or you want to go to INSEAD in Paris or an NUS in Singapore. You are most welcome. You will have an exit option for 3 years, after 3 years. And that is something very brilliantly incorporated into this program. So it is like a double, it's a double game in that. It's a double, let's say, reward, if I can call it. I'm not getting the right word, but it's lovely reward that you're going to get for getting into it after your 12th. And it's much more easier to get into it after 12th than probably after your graduation, the UG program. Then it is right now currently offered by 5 IIMs, and I hope the names are here. Let me answer that. I've also done that in the previous one. IIM Indore was the first to start once more. Next was IIM Rohtak. Then we have Ranchi also starting the bandwagon. We have Bodh Gaya in all of these are in various states. Indore, of course, is in Madhya Pradesh. Rohtak is in Punjab or Haryana. I beg your pardon. Ranchi is in Jharkhand. Bodh Gaya is in Bihar. And we also have an IIM Jammu, which have started the 5 programs. There is a very high chance, like I said in the beginning, in a few minutes back, that there are more IIMs expected to start IPM. The most important thing, as I said, is the great learning environment and exposure that you'll get. We'll talk about that in this slide. The kind of a holistic education that you get. If you take a BCom, you will be doing only a few courses in BCom, which are specific to commerce and finance and accounts. There'll be some statistics. If you take up a BA in political science, you will take up maybe an economics and a political science and a lot of questions on political science. You do engineering, you will do only engineering and all the engineering subjects, depending on which engineering you pick up. You take up philosophy, you will take up only philosophy. You take up a BBA, a very specific BBA, business administration or a business management course. There also you will only find a marketing or a finance or a human resources, or for that matter, maybe systems and operations. That's it. The integrated program in management for the first 3 years is going to take care of integrating philosophy, a course in philosophy to understand whether you might be interested in that, psychology, pol science, IPR, the intellectual property rights. Remember, if you wanted to go to law, taking a law, you might have to do this, and you understand that in an MBA program too, or fine arts. And there are science sessions too. There are quantitative aptitude courses too, which I'm not including here. In that sense of the word, the IPM is a very holistic program. The other interesting thing is it's a self-discovery. I said, those of you who heard me in the first 15 minutes of my address, I'm going to reiterate that most of us don't even know what we want to do. So you want to get into that kind of a course, that kind of a graduation, that kind of a degree, that kind of a spend of time where at the end of it, you have a chance to decide what you want to do. And that's the kind of a self-discovery that you will get in terms of the leadership courses, management courses, analytical courses, and personalized personality courses too. The third one, of course, is the advantage that you come with an IIM name. And of course, I've talked about the salaries and packages. There are many multiple entrances that one has to write after the UG and getting into a PG. But if you do that after 12, it's definitely going to be percentage-wise, chances-wise, much easier to get into an IIM now than getting into an IIM after your graduation. And last but not the least, the IIM brand equity is unmatched, not just in India, my friends, but across the world. People will recognize you that you are from an IIM. It's like the IITs. When you go abroad and somebody says, hey, you're from IIT, they give you value. Similarly, even if you have just done the 3 years graduation and exited, you will still be called an IIM graduate. And that is something very, very strong. This is what I wanted to talk about. The kind of opportunities that one has are dime a dozen. But the interesting thing that I'm going to talk about is this. Of course, you can become a consultant in a McKinsey or a Bain or a BCG. You can become a marketing manager in a Amazon or a Flipkart or a Hindustan Unilever or a Procter & Gamble. You can become an investment banker in a Goldman Sachs or a JP Morgan or a Morgan Stanley or a Deutsche Bank. You can become a business analyst in any of the companies, including the Mahindras and the Tata Administrative Services, or for that matter, the latest, Latent View or any such kind of a Mu Sigma kind of analytics companies. You can be a financial advisor in a commercial bank. You can be a human resource manager in an IT company. You could be administrative managers, product managers in any and every company that you can think of, or operations and supply chain management managers in Gati, in FedEx, and of course in Amazons and the Flipkarts and the Walmarts of the world. You can do your own family business too. But here is what I wanted to draw your attention to. There were two people who did their MBA and they didn't have a clue what they would want to do after doing an MBA. But of course, the reason they did an MBA is because they knew that, look, they will get the flexibility I was talking about, the versatility that I was talking about. One gentleman, all of you know, is Mr. Chetan Bhagat. I'm sure all of you know that this gentleman is an IIT Delhi graduate. There's another gentleman that I would like to talk about, Amish Tripathi, who is probably a rage in being the best author or the most selling author now in the country after Chetan Bhagat. Chetan Bhagat's 5 Point Someone and 2 States that some of you would have seen the movie and of course read the book, hopefully. And Amish Tripathi is the trilogy, the Shiva trilogy or the Ramayana trilogy of Ram, Sita, Ravan, or other things that he's doing have been brilliant. Do you know what is common between them? This guy is an IITian. This guy is a BCom. This is an engineer. This is a BCom. So what is common between them? What is common is an IIM degree. Chetan is from IIM Ahmedabad. Amish is from IIM Calcutta. Both of them graduated in 1997. That's where yours truly, that is me, also graduated in 1997 from IIM Calcutta. But I'll tell you something. When these guys graduated from these two highest portals of PG possible, they had no clue they wanted to become writers. They knew they had it in them. They did not know that that would be their career. And that is something which gives you amazing, this program itself, not just the IPM program, the self-discovery and the MBA will give you that platform to get there. And one last thing that I'm saying, which is written here, is the commentator. If there is one commentator that everybody knows and is a household name, anybody who loves cricket, is Harsha Bhogle. Harsha incidentally happens to be my senior in Osmania University Engineering College, a super senior, of course, and he also is from IIM Ahmedabad. Why I'm saying this is because being an engineer also, you can become a commentator. That's not easy, but being an MBA is much more easier. A lot of these guys are doing it. I know of enough MBAs, not necessarily from the top IIMs alone, but from MBAs who are into sports management. You may like it, you may not like it. You may be a commentator, you may not be want to be a commentator. What I'm trying to explain in one single slide here is that if you are not sure what you want to become, this 5 years is not just a self-discovery. It will create a path. It creates a platform. It creates a solid platform to take your career to higher, bigger heights. And that is the reason why, my friends, this is a fantastic program to look at. Last but not the least, I'll give you quickly how the progression happens, and then we'll talk about what are these exams. And I also promised you at the last slide, I will give you what kind of salaries these guys who become and finish their integrated program in management get after their 5 years. So, but for that, very, very quickly, what will happen is this. You will come, and after your UG and PG, if I can call it together, that's the IPM, you will be probably finishing in 22, 23, 24, that time when you finish your MBA. You might be taking up a very specialization like a marketing, finance, HR, operations, systems, or many other things. Initially, you will, if it's a large organization, you will get into a functional role at a junior management level for the first 7 years of your life. The next thing is, this is the only course, again, because of your MBA, you will be given a chance to get into middle management, where you can look at cross-functional experience. That means if you're a marketing guy, you can be doing some part of HR, some part of finance, some part of operations too, and the vice versa for everybody else too. Once you have established yourself in the firm, that you understand the various nuances of all functions of an organization and the business, you then get into a senior management role. From there, to become a CXO and a CEO is all about how much effort are you going to put in and how much ambition you carry with yourself with. That's all I can say. But this is if it's a large organizations like the Hindustan Unilever or the Mahindras, or for that matter, the Tatas. But if you're looking at a startup, you start off being in the senior management even before you begin, kind of things. And the internships opportunities that you will get in the 5 years will kind of catapult you to being the most sought after girl or boy after you finish. And that is the kind of a guaranteed career progression. Along with the kind of a flexibility that I talked about, I think what else can be a better career than this? Now, here is what I would like to very, very quickly give you. Like I said, the placement statistics. IIM Indore last year, this year it is 20 plus. Last year was 19 lakhs. Even Rohtak, which has just started 2019 for their PGP program, is 13.5 lakhs. But I can guarantee you, when the first batch comes out, the minimum salaries that people will take away is something going to be on the 15 LPA. IIM Ranchi, IIM Jammu, IIM Bodh Gaya. Each one of them give you amazing opportunities at the end of that 5 years. These are colleges which are also very, very good, but typically they are the UG courses straight away. For example, the Sri Ram College of Commerce, or for that matter, the University of Delhi, the Sahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies, or of course the Pune Symbiosis BBA or an MIMS BBA in Bombay. Each one of them will give you enough choices too. But as you can see, if you have the way I am going to answer a simple question to you, I'm going to answer or rather, even if you don't have a question, I'm going to answer that question to you. Is it possible to get there easily? My answer is a huge yes. Look at the difference between the number of people writing IPMAT versus CLAT. There are 2.5 lakh people writing CAT, 2.5 lakh people writing CAT almost. Whereas we are talking about 17,000, 20,000. And the only reason why only 17, 12,000 write this is because most people do not know about this. People don't even know that this exists seriously. You know what? There are 14 lakh people who do their CBSE exam of 12th, and only 12,000 wrote it last year. It only shows the kind of an opportunity that you have. It only shows that, look, if you put in that kind of an effort right away, it's going to be absolutely, absolutely easy to get there. And that is the reason why I will talk about why is it easy to get there too. This exam, the entrance examinations for getting into these IPM courses that I was talking about, is something like this. The IPMAT indoor course, this year, that is 2022, when you're going to write it in May, will most probably have 100 questions in that. 100 questions. What do they ask you in that? Quantitative aptitude, the short answer questions. They are called the theta questions, where you need to type in the answer. And there are multiple choice questions in the same quantitative aptitude. I'm going to talk about a little bit on that also. And then verbal ability and reading comprehension. Mind you, friends, I said this course is completely stream agnostic. It is completely your 11th and 12th agnostic. Meaning you could have taken science, you could have taken commerce, you could have taken arts, you could have taken humanities. It does not matter. You can write this exam, whatever your background is on 11th and 12th. Next question somebody asks, sir, is maths required? Yes, it is required. But of what level? What you have done in your 9th and 10th. There is a little bit of a higher maths, but maybe few questions come in. You don't need it. And I'll also explain to you why it is not so important. Why it is not so important in a moment. 100 questions of IPMAT indoor. 4 marks for every correct question. -1 for every wrong answer. By the way, that's what makes it difficult. Not because the questions are difficult. Because people get afraid when there is a negative marking. Why do you get scores in your 10th and 12th? Because there is no negative marking. The moment there is negative marking, there cannot be 8,312 people getting 10 on 10. It's impossible, actually. It's so ridiculous, but I'm sure people get it. You might think that I am it's like a sour grapes, because I never got that 20 years back, 25, 30 years back. But the fact remains, guys, that you need mental strength to be able to understand and maneuver +4 and -1 very, very seriously. The total marks, therefore, will be for 400, and you have 2 hours to do this. Is it possible? Is it enough? I don't know. We'll talk about it in a moment. IIM Rohtak has also 120 minutes, but they have 120 questions and 480 marks. IPMAT last year again had 100 questions and 400 marks. 150 minutes were given. And to tell you the cutoffs, look at this. Look at this. If you had got minimum cutoff of 16 plus 21 plus 70, 87, 86, 96, 107 marks, plus add another 50, 155 to 160, you would have got into IIM Indore. This is the difference that I'm telling you guys from what you have done in your 10th and 12th and 11th or whatever, and the entrance examinations that you're going to write. You don't need that marks. Look at IPM Rohtak. 480 marks. That was the full paper. To a general category student will get it at 265. Just understand, if you have an EWS category, you have an NC OBC category, and if you have an SC and ST, look at this, the cutoff. There are 20 questions in short answers, 4 marks each, 80 marks question. This is 40 questions, 160 marks here, 160 marks here, and if you have by any chance an SC or an ST or a PWD category, look at it. One question you solve, you are there. 8 questions you solve, you're there. Even for a general category, 4 questions out of 20, 6 questions out of 40, and of course, close to 20 questions out of 40. You will make it to IIM Indore. It's not that easy as it says. You might think it is easy, or maybe the paper is extremely difficult. Now, I'll tell you something. I'll get you onto some very, very interesting insight about the people, guys. You know what? If I give this paper without telling you that this is an IPMAT paper, your 9th class brother or a sister will crack it out of shape. But the moment I say that, hey, this is an IPMAT exam to get into an IIM Indore, which will open up the doors to the world at large, you know what's going to happen? You're going to chicken out. You're going to kind of feel very, very difficult about it. And you feel, oh, it's so difficult. And that, my friends, is the reason why we are here at Career Launcher, to help you achieve your dreams. Make sure that you get what you want.